Welcome, fellow person, into the room of the person who just can't watch anime. People have been telling me to get into anime, and no, Doraemon doesn't count, it's a cartoon, yada yada yada. Well, I am too busy right now to watch anime. And people have taken notice. Here, look outside. Yikes. Do you see the problem? I have a person dealing with that at the bottom of the building, but I need to come up with a way to shoo them off for good. What's a good way to properly get into anime? Well, I like video games. Are there any anime based off of video games? I got it. Introducing PaRappa the Rapper, a dog who raps. Remember this. This game series, despite not having a new original game for a decade now, it just won't die. The first PaRappa game was released in 1996 in Japan and worldwide in 1997 for the original PlayStation. It's a game about PaRappa the Rapper. He raps his way through various stages with the ultimate goal of impressing his love interest, Sunny Funny. It's a rhythm game where you press the buttons on the screen to the beat. The essential message of the game is to believe in oneself, whether that be getting a driving license, baking a cake, or taking a shot. As a Nintendo player, this game is so good, it's literally one of the two games that make me jealous of PlayStation users. The other being Dreams, cause who doesn't want to participate in playing random games? That is, until Game Builder Garage came out recently, and yeah, it's just PaRappa now. Because of the success of the first game, a spin-off game, Jammer Lammy, was released for the original PlayStation in 1999. It's almost the same premise as PaRappa the Rapper, except instead of rapping, you play guitar, and I just want to say that this game does so many things that make me question how this got an E for everyone rating. But that's not what I want to discuss right now. Finally, in 2001, PaRappa the Rapper 2 was released in Japan, with it releasing everywhere else in 2002. It was still about believing in yourself, but it's generally about solving a bigger conflict not related to relationships. That being noodles. I'm not gonna spoil it too much since this game is actually good, so y'all should try it. And that's it. All the original games are done. In 2006, the first game was released on the PlayStation Portable in Japan, and in 2007, the port was released worldwide. And in 2017, a remastered version of the first game was released on the PS4, which could upscale to 4K and is easier than the original game, which is just a PlayStation Portable version emulated with better textures, just like Mario 3D All-Stars. This might seem like a big sellout, but unlike Mario 3D All-Stars, this game wasn't a limited release and had no major expectations to live up to. It didn't disappoint anyone, probably because there's been no new game since 2002 and the series never evolved in the way Mario did. That brings us to now, where the remaster of the first game is the latest game in the series, with PaRappa 2 being the latest original game from the series. You don't even know if a PaRappa 3 is happening. Nana Onsha, creators of PaRappa, did start a Kickstarter for a new series called Project Rap Rabbit with Ines Corporation, creators of Gitaru Man, to revive what PaRappa did, but that was a failure. Using Google Trends, you can see how the PSP and PS4 port boosted search results for a bit before dying, and right now it may reach a high again from the looks of it, most likely due to Night Funkin, a Dance Dance Revolution type Newgrounds game that has taken the world by storm. FNF is inspired by PaRappa according to the developers, and I do admit I got into the series because of Night Funkin. I don't actually own the game, so I just watched people play it and then discovered, holy mother of god, there's an anime? So, where does an anime come into the series? Well, the reception of the game spawned two TV shows in Japan. One was called PJ Berry's Munching Mumbling, which aired in 2016 for PaRappa's 20th anniversary, which is not important right now. And another one, simply called PaRappa the Rapper, aired between 2001 to 2002, and this is what we're going to be discussing today. This anime was made in the middle of PaRappa the Rapper 2's production to boost merchandise sales. We'll get into the production later though. Let's watch the anime and see how well it fares on the surface. With that overly long introduction out of the way, I need to decide, do I really dedicate a portion of my life to watching this anime and dissecting it? I'm not even the target demographic, so is this really worth it? I don't care, I'm gonna do it anyway. Well, let's watch the intro, and oh my god, it's gorgeous. I gotta say, the animation in this anime is pretty good, especially on the high intensity parts. For example, PaRappa almost dying from a chain. This is a show for kids. The music is pretty good too, especially from the first half of the anime. The intro and credit song are stuck in my head. This is a promising start for our look at the rest of the anime. Let's dive into episode 1 and immediately we are introduced to who the hell are you? Yeah, this is Gaster, a stereotypical thief villain. Because a kid's show must involve a rival and Gaster is as basic as a villain gets. He likes money, wants to scare PaRappa town to death. He laughs a lot. So yeah, aside from being kinda cute, he's just mad to me. We also get introduced to good old PaRappa and who the hell are you? This first episode establishes our characters and also establishes characters that aren't from the game so that the cast isn't too boring. These new characters are Pinto, PaRappa's cute and oddly obedient and badass little sister, Matt, PJ Berry's friend, and Paula, this rebellious sassy girl. Wait a minute, you may ask, why aren't these names Japanese? A good eye, friend. Have you noticed that every bit of writing in this show is in English? Papers, signs, big signs. Well, the games take place in America, that's my observation anyways, because the games have only ever been in English. Even in Japan, non-English speaking countries only got subtitles to their languages. No dubs. Most of the cast have American names. It's probably because you can't really translate a rap, and this game is so rap heavy that it's gonna be hell to translate all those raps. And with that out of the way, episode 1 is okay in my opinion. I mean, it's a good introductory episode, I just personally don't like the plot of the episode all too much. PaRappa has a dilemma, Paula pisses off Katie, they get into a fight, Gaster steals money. I don't actually remember what happens next, but they get the money back eventually and the episode ends. You get what I mean? It's kinda confusing. I don't have much time to review the rest of the anime's episodes one by one, so I'm going to generalize my thoughts into a summary, or else I may turn into a corpse while rambling, and I don't want to be responsible for a death around these places. This anime is actually kinda good. Not even the target demographic, and I liked it a decent amount. Yes, I even laughed at some of the jokes in the show. This may be due to me watching these back to back, but I can remember most of these episodes and nearly everything that went down in them. One of them being this scene from episode 18. No, get the hell away from me, stay out! I have a pencil, I'm not afraid to use it! Also, PaRappa keeps getting in near-death situations. Because this is a kid's show, he can't die, obviously. Even in this scene, which looks like it's ripped straight from another anime, he doesn't die. Why are you filming me choking? Now you may be asking, where's Lammy and Moxan? Why is Milk Can not mentioned? And to that I say this series is a prequel to the first PaRappa game, at least that's how it looks. In the first game, Milk Can wasn't even formed and the cast didn't even meet yet, which is why Milk Can isn't present in the anime, why the car in the garage is the car that PaRappa crashed in the first game, and why PaRappa eagerly questions if he wants to win a 100-year supply of noodles or cheese, despite in the second game where he won both and was traumatized by it, which all points to this taking place before the games. But that doesn't explain why Katie is a fashion person. She is so into fashion, it's weird for me. In the games, that side of herself is not shown, at least that's from what I see. And in General Lammy, she plays bass and does vocals. You may say maybe Katie dropped fashion in the first game and became a vocalist and bassist instead. But then why is she holding a bass in the intro? She never even uses it. Man, if only this series wasn't made for merchandise, then they could have put a lot more effort into the lore. There are a few more things I like to point out, one of them being that why is Boxy Boy's voice so manly?
Come
on, PaRappa, relax. It's practice time.
I initially thought it was because of this game's Japanese dub, but as we've seen, there is none. His voice in the games is completely different, and I don't know why, but yeah, at least the anime gave us an explanation as to why Boxy Boy looks so different between the first two PaRappa games. Wait a minute. If this anime is a prequel, why is Boxy Boy's second design not in the first game? Why is Boxy Boy's transformation just a button press away? Why is it that in the first form, he's jumping around and being vague, then in the second form, episode 15, he goes to being very understandable, but beyond episode 15, even in the second form, he's back to jumping around and being vague? Why, this anime freaking stinks! Also, why is the phrase "you gotta believe" thrown around all the time? In the games, it marks PaRappa's adventure into a level and to reaffirm that he is confident. But it just isn't the same in the anime. Maybe that's just me. Also, PaRappa never raps. The only time PaRappa actually sings is in the last episode where he just sings an English version of Always Love from PaRappa 2. It's not even an original rap, and it sucks now. His entire character was rapping, and that was the objective of the game. And now his character stripped of the only thing that made him good, what defined his character. For crying out loud, the anime is titled PaRappa the Rapper. I'm okay, I am fine. On the bright side though, PJ in this anime is absolutely hilarious. He genuinely doesn't give two shits about the current situation. When a building is burning down or PaRappa crashing into a window, someone crying in front of him, or a building breaking apart, he wears a monotone voice and a deadpan expression for most of the show and sleeps wherever he can. There's even an entire episode dedicated to it. He's not like PJ from the games, but it's still pretty funny. One final thing I'd like to mention is PaRappa's relationship with Sunny. I find it really cute that Sunny is never mean to PaRappa. In fact, she cared about him enough to follow him into a secret base because she wants to get PaRappa to eat lunch with him. But PaRappa has a secret base to go to. She always smiles when PaRappa comes along with her, and in the games, it's canon that they love each other, which is just very wholesome. So I could go on and on about my thoughts about this anime, but if I did, I would be here for much longer. Instead, I encourage you all to watch the anime for yourselves and let me know what you think. How would you do that? Well, the PaRappa community has got you covered. All these episodes have been uploaded online and recently even subtitled. Although these episodes have VHS artifacts, and to my knowledge, there being no place to find all of these episodes without them, we're gonna have to live with these for now. It's not like we don't know what the show originally looked like, but I can only find a few places where the original show's quality was shown, but not in full episodes. Still though, we are very lucky to receive the VHS tapes archived on YouTube with subtitles done by the community. It's not a perfect experience, some music was cut out due to copyright, but we are very grateful to even have these in the first place. The music is just a minuscule problem and rarely gets in the way of the episode. Now that we covered the anime itself, let's close things off by looking into the main problem that was faced in the anime's production. In an interview, artist and PaRappa's co-creator Rodney Greenblatt voiced his frustrations with the series' creation. He wanted the series to be aimed for teenagers, but he was declined for that. He wanted to be involved in writing the series, but all he was allowed to do was design characters. Oh, that's why all the names and locations are American. It's because the guy who created them is American. He felt he was kicked from something he always wanted to do, which was make an animation starring his characters. He couldn't even see how the writing actually turned out since he doesn't know Japanese. He described the quote-unquote little kids version of PaRappa as a failure, as apparently it didn't connect with the kids, and the time slot for the show kept getting preempted by baseball. I think his frustrations were justified, as him not allowed to write the episode was a bit of a loss on the anime's part, as I think that could have fixed some problems with the anime I voiced earlier, especially PaRappa not rapping at all. And I get his frustrations when he realized that they weren't making a PaRappa show to be a good show, but rather making a kid show just to sell merchandise. I think that PaRappa should have another go at anime. Have Rodney Greenblatt on the team, feature all the characters, feature rapping, be for teens, and it could be much better and much more popular, especially in today's age where everyone around the world can watch anime, and is interested in a PaRappa series revival. This is why I feel the anime wasn't as faithful to the original series as it could have been. It probably would have been famous enough to be dubbed, but it was never brought outside Japan, never had more than one season. But saying it never connected with kids? I don't believe that, because I think this is the perfect show for kids who are just looking to be entertained. Hell, even I enjoyed it. So many people in the comment section of the re-uploads of the episodes also liked the show too. And they're not kids, at least I don't think so. So I don't believe it didn't connect with kids, because a lot of people who aren't kids liked it. I just believe the time scheduling screwed it over. Hopefully someday if Sony or Nana Ansha sees the archives and takes them down, they will at least upload the episode subtitled to a streaming service. So this anime isn't as good as it could have been. Lost potential for fans, and if they cared about what the series co-creator wanted out of the show, they could have created a far better show that could have gone on for far longer and weren't bringing to other countries outside of Japan. But it's not fair to judge anything based on what it could have been, but rather what they are. What if the series had no expectations to live up to? Well, it's still a surprisingly decent show. It kept my attention throughout the runtime and wasn't agonizing when watching most of the time. Sure, sometimes it reminds me that it's a kid's show, but it isn't too much of a big deal for me. This is still, to me, a great show to binge. So I did it. I finally watched an anime. Although I have been meaning to watch this anime for a while, it did feel like I had to watch it because I needed to at times. However, sometimes it was still fun to watch at my own pace. So now that I watch an anime, hopefully that angry mob outside will finally get off my back and leave me alone. And it's bigger! Damn it. Maybe if I watched JoJo this wouldn't have happened.